Welcome Module 2, Lesson 3. So, we'll just jump straight into it. Our goal today is that I can count by 5s and 1s on the number line to tell time to the nearest minute. Now, once again, we're just jumping back into the realm of time, understanding how we can read it, understanding how we can use a number line or a clock to tell the time. So we're going a little bit more deeper into recognizing how to use a clock and how to read it. So, just before we get started, a couple reminders. On a face of the clock, there are two hands. There's the long hand and the short hand. Short hand's red, the long hand is blue. Now remember, those colors, they're here to help you remember that red goes to red and the blue goes on the outside, which is minute hand. Most clocks aren't going to be colored like this, so it's very important to learn what does the short hand mean, what does the long hand mean. Just keep that in mind. Now, remember, long hand is minute, short hand is hour. So, also remember that a number line can be used to represent a clock. Now, the only difference between this is that a clock can keep going on and on and on and on forever in a circle. Now, a number line can technically go on and on forever. These arrows at the far ends of this are saying, and it keeps going forever. But once again, if you're using a clock to tell time, it would be very, very, very hard to keep time on a number line because you just have it going all the way around the room over and over and over and over and over until you ran out of wall space. And we don't want that. So we use a clock that kind of resets itself every single time it goes around. So that's 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, and each time it goes around, the hour hand moves accordingly to each hour. So when the blue hand goes around one time, so for example, I'll start at the hour hand at 1. Every time the blue hand goes around once, the hour hand goes to the next one. When it goes around again, the hour hand goes to the next one, 3. And when it goes around again, it will go to 4. So on and so forth, and it just keeps on going. Just as a reminder, that's how the clock works. Now, we can use a number line to help represent time, but there's a reason why we don't use this like a watch, because that would be a very big watch. Now, as we're going with this, just remember, between the 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way around, between each one of these numbers are dots, and those dots or lines are representing specifically 1 minute. So, if I'm starting at 0 minutes here, and 60 minutes are way over here, we would be counting 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. But let's say if I was like, well, where's 12 on this number line? Well, you know 12 is between 10 and 15, but do you see a 12 written down? The answer to that is no. We don't have a 12 written down. Does that mean it doesn't exist? The answer to that is no as well. There is a 12 there. We just don't see it. But we can make it. Now, bear with me here. Between each one of these lines, or between these numbers, are more numbers. That's how numbers work. Between 5 and 10, there's 6, 7, 8, and 9. So kind of keep that in mind. So between 0 and 5, there are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what you can do, and you're going to do little tiny marks for this, is you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last one is 5, but you don't need to write that one down because it's already there. So do another one. So for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is that next big one. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, next big one. You see how this continues on. It just goes and goes and goes and on. I could fill this up all the way across. Now, there's a reason why I'm not going to do that right now. Could we? Yes, very well could. I'm not going to do that because that's a lot of lines. That would be me drawing 60 lines out. And to kind of give an example here, if I was going to say, where is 44 on this number line, do I need to necessarily start at 0 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? Do I need to do that? No, I don't. We have strategies in math to do this. We already just explain this. Where's 12? We know 12 is between 10 and 15, right? So where's 44? 44 is between 40 and 45. So I know it's somewhere here. What comes after 40? 41. So 41, 42, 43, 44. So 44 would be right there, and I could put a dot there to represent it. Did I have to count 16, like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 through 24, 25 to 30, 30 to 35? Did I have to count all those numbers to find 44? No, I didn't. That's the great thing about a clock. You can look at a clock, look exactly where the hands are pointing, and be like, oh, that is 3. And then the minute hand, they're like, oh, that's between the 4 and the 5. Oh, it's 1 a little bit, so it's 21. So that is something you can do. It's a strategy to help you tell time faster. So you don't have to go, okay, where's 44? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As you can see, that gets tiring, that's laborious, it just keeps on going. And time is precious. The reason why we want to know the time is typically because we have to get somewhere. And we don't want to waste our time trying to find out what the time is. So we're going to use methods that can help us find that time faster. So for another example, let's find 28. Let's find the number 28. Once again, do I need to start at 0? No, I don't. Where is 28? What is 28 between? Is 28 between 15 and 20? No, so I know it's not there. Is 15 between 50 and 55? Is 28 between 50 and 55? No, it's not there. And you can ask this question, well, is 28 bigger or less than that number? And the answer is smaller, so I know I'm going back that way. Is 28 between 20 and 25? No, but we're getting closer. Is 28 between 25 and 30? Right, there's the answer is yes. So we're going to be working in this area right here. So we'd start at 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I'm going to fill it out all the way just for habit's sakes. So I'm at 25, 26, 27, 28. I know 28 is right there. So I can mark it up and say 28 is right there. Now, how does this apply to a clock again? Let me explain. 0 to 60, that's 1 hour. 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. Which means if this right here is 3 o'clock, after 60 minutes, we would be at 4 o'clock. Remember, once you get to 60, it gets bundled, puts in the bag, and that bag is equal to 1 hour. And you throw that on the hour train, kind of sense, and you go on from there. So 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So if I were to ask, where is 3:36? Where's 3:36 on this time? Well, I know that this is 3 o'clock, and 3:36 is between 3 and 4 o'clock. So am I using the right number line for this? Yes. If this said 5 and this said 6, would I be able to find 3:36 on this? Actually, I'll do that. If I had this be 5 and 6, is there any way I could ever find 3:36 on this number line? The answer to that is no, I couldn't. Because this right here would be 5:28. Right here would be 5:44. 5 is higher than 3, right? We have 5 hours. We're looking for the third hour. So this doesn't work here. So what we'd have to do is make sure we're in the realm of the correct numbers that we're doing. We're between 3 and 4 o'clock. So where is 3:36? Once again, do I need to start at 3 o'clock all the way down here? No, I don't. And once again, I'm going to do this. Instead of counting by just going 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up like that, I could go 3 o'clock, 3:05, 3:10, 3:15, 3:20, because I'm using this. I'm using this number here. 3:30, 3:35, 3:40, so on and so forth. So 3:36. I'm only going to look at the 36 part because I know I'm in the correct hour. And where's 36? What numbers is 36 between? Is it between 15:20, 15:55, 50:85, and 60, 0 and 5? Hopefully you'll be able to recognize 36 is between 35 and 40. So let's do all the tallies up in there. So 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40 is already there. Make sure you keep the single minutes very small because you don't want to get them confused with the bigger. The bigger ones mark you where the 5 and 15 go. So just keep that in mind. And now I know this is 35, so 35, do one jump. 36 is right there. So where is 336? 336 is marked on the number line at that spot right there. Now, I'm going to say this right now. This is something that we talk about in a later lesson, but this is something that I see becoming a problem regular every single time I teach it. And it's something that is very easy to misunderstand. And that is elapsed time. And that's, as mentioned before, time is continuous. Time is always happening. It's always existing. So if it was 7:30 right now, and then I ate dinner, and it took me 10 minutes to eat dinner. If it's 7:30, and I started eating at 7:30, what time did I finish eating? You add 10 minutes to the 30 minutes, and you get 7:40. Now, often what will happen is that we'll start at the 7 o'clock. We'll create an entire number line, start at 7 o'clock, and just count it by 10. And say it's right there. Keep in mind, did we start at 7 o'clock? No, we started at 7:30, so you need to find that 30 marker, and then go up 10 from there. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm not going to go into super detail about it right now, because that's something that we will go into detail on a later date. But I wanted to kind of do a light hit on that. So, how does this relate to a actual clock? That's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. So, once again, those lines, all these little itty bitty lines that you see over here, are on clocks. You can see that they're going all the way around on this side here. So once again, if I were to take this number line, take this corner and this corner, and wrap them around to make a circle, they'd make this. Remember, the 60 is representing 0 and 60. Just kind of keep that in mind. So 5, 10, 15, 20 goes 5, 10, 15, 20. Goes all the way around to 60, and then you start the next hour. Just remember that. But if I enrolled it, you can count and find that 3:36. You can find that on the clock too. I'm going to start by putting my hour hand on the 3 o'clock, because it's 3 o'clock. Now I deal with the hour hand. And we've already talked about how I'm talking about 3:36. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And 36 is 1 past 35, which is, make sure it's exactly 35. And one more is 36. So this time would be 3:36. Now, you can do this at home at just random intervals. You can look at the clock if you have one in your home. If you don't have to, you can even have a parent help you Google analog clock, and it'll bring up clocks for you. It's very handy. It's a digital analog clock, but you can just look at the clock and be like, okay, where's that minute hand? And go from there. So on your homework, you are going to be having questions where it's saying, hey, this is the time that so-and-so woke up for school. Or this is the time that so-and-so ate breakfast. Or this is the time that so-and-so had soccer practice. Like 6:47. And you'll have to have a number line or a clock that you need to draw the shorthand for the hour and the longhand for the minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this real quick to show you kind of what I mean real quick. As an example, and you guys have one of these clocks as a template in your book. I believe it's on page, let me just double check. 157. So it's on page 157. You'll have a clock, and it's marked all the way around. The way I write up clocks is a little bit interesting, but I use that because I know where 12, 3, 6, and 9 go, and so I use those points to make sure everything's equally spaced. So just a strategy I have. So if I was looking for 7:38, first thing I want to do is start with the hour hand. Is the hour hand the long hand or the short hand? It's the short hand. So it's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to draw a shorthand pointing at that 7. Make sure it's not super long, because if you make it too long, it may get confused as the minute hand. 38. Do I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? No, I don't need to do that. And on top of that, your clock will already have those lines already drawn around. So if you wanted to count it that way, you're good. But we have a little cheatsy way of doing it. We got a little strategy. We know that each one of these numbers represents one group of 5. So you can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Am I near 38 yet? I can keep going. 35. Ooh, am I getting closer? Alright, so I know 38 is between 35 and 40. So it's between here and here. It's between the 7 and the 8. So I know this right here is 35. I'm just going to write that up there so we can recognize that. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you guys, to ensure you guys can see that. 35. And so 36, 37, 38, 39, and the 8 would be at the 40. So 38 would be 36, 37, 38. At this point, right there on the clock. Which means I take an hour hand and make it super long, putting at that spot. So I didn't do this intentionally, but it's okay if the hour hand and the minute hand are kind of close to each other. Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes that happens. But sometimes you may have something that looks a little bit like this. Let me change it up just a little bit here. Let's say 2:46. So starting with that hour hand, it's 2. So we're going to do the short hand, pointing at the 2, like that. And then 46, count by 5s with me until we get close to 46. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Ooh, 46 is one more than that. So that's 45. 46 is one up. I'm going to go ahead and draw that line there. So now you have 2, looking there, so 2, 46. So you can't remember, that's how you use this time. That's what this homework will be asking you to. Make sure you get this down because this is going to be something that you'll need to be able to do when I start asking you word problems about this. So just keep in mind, get this practice done. With this page right here, you can quite literally have a family member, a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, anybody in your family, just ask you a time, and you can draw it on there, and then erase it, and they can ask you another one. It's good practice. So, hopefully, this lesson was helpful, and I hope you guys have a great day.